Coach, can you give us some remarks about the match?
Yeah, look, overall, I thought we started the match okay. You know, we knew tonight we would have to be almost perfect with the absence of Ty and Jose. Coming on the road against a great Columbus team, a really organized, well-coached team, we knew we couldn't make any mistakes. There were stretches where we did a good job against their key guys, but obviously Cucho and Rossi are of the quality that they can make the difference, and tonight they did.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna go to Zoom. We'll go ahead and start off with Jonathan Tannenwald. Jonathan, go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Um, all losses sting, all losses in cup sting. We know how close this team came and how good Columbus is. What's sort of the mood right now?
Yeah, look, the guys in the locker room are upset. You know, anytime you lose a semifinal, it hurts. But at the same time, we know who we are. We know what we're about. I think the guys all know going into the game that it was going to take a perfect effort, like I said, and we didn't have that tonight. So all of us, know that we win and lose as a team. These guys punch above their weight and having this competition again this season. We'll have to regroup quickly and ready ourselves for a third place game against either Colorado or LAFC at home. So again, congratulations to Columbus. They deserved it tonight. There's nothing that I would say that would be disrespectful to them. But again, we had a half chance there at the start of the second half to tie it at 2-2, and then their quality took over in the second half.
Okay. And we'll like to go ahead with Jose Nunez. Go ahead, Jose.
Hey, Jim, leading into the game, you had sort of used the phrase around us, not through us, in terms of the
Yeah,
defensive nature that you wanted to take. Obviously, that did not happen, I think, around, about twice during the match.
yeah.
What's got to change to jump? Is it missing pieces? Is it tactical? And looking into on the line for you and the team and the franchise, what does the approach look like for you, knowing that you're not facing a Monterrey match or team, I should say, that's already qualified for the Champions Cup next year?
Sorry, you broke up at the end. You said that who qualified for the Champions Cup next year?
No, sorry, saying that, looking at a match that where you are not facing a Monterrey team that has already qualified like last year. You're facing a team that's also
Gotcha.
battling for
Understood.
the
Yeah, yeah,
spot.
gotcha. Sorry, it just broke up there. Yeah, look, overall, we always preach defending inside to out. I think if you noticed, a lot of their goals came from their strong side. Going into the game, our goal was to try to keep the ball on their left side, our right-hand side. It was twofold. We're a little, you know, sometimes a little stronger and defensively on that side. And look, they attack good on both sides, but if you saw where their goals came from, they hurt us. On the right side after they rotated the ball quickly and then went over us on the one goal. The first goal, I think we can do a better job getting out to Cucho and closing him down. It's one of those ones where is it a cross, is it a shot? Andre sees it late and parries it, and Rossi runs hard in the box. It goes right off his head, so that one hurt. But at the same time, the second one, I thought we could do a better job being tight. You know, to Ramirez at the top of the box. He scoops the ball over the top and makes us pay. Rossi makes a good run and good finish. And then on the third one, we have a chance, maybe at midfield to end the play. We don't, and credit to them, we kind of get all out of sorts, and Nathan stuck with three guys in the box against one, which shouldn't happen. So overall, again, we made a push for it, didn't get the job done. We know that it'll be a difficult test against whether it's LAFC or Colorado. The one benefit we have in the third place game is they have to travel and come to us. We have a quick turnaround again, and we'll see this Columbus team quickly. Hopefully they're hungover after maybe a championship. But overall, disappointing always to lose. Again, we had to be perfect tonight. We knew that going into the game, and we didn't get it done.
Thank you very much. And we'll go ahead with Joe Tansey. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey Jim, when it comes to replacing that space that Jose usually occupies,
Yeah.
what went into using Jack in that spot with Leon instead of maybe Jesus in a road game where you know there's going to be a lot of defending in that area in front of Dre.
Sorry, say that again.
When
Who did we?
what went into the decision to in midfield between McGlynn, Bueno, covering that space that Jose typically covers?
We started Leon Flock at the 6. Leon, I thought, did a good job to start the game. Obviously, they made some plays, and the thinking with Jack being on the field is hopefully he could spring Mikel. Didn't get on the ball probably enough in the game to make a difference. And again, when you play against a good opponent, everyone's intensity has to raise. And I thought some guys had good nights, some guys had tough nights, and they punished us. And again, that's what good teams do on the road. We had, several little half chances, several corner kicks, created some looks. But again, you have to be ruthless and hit the back of the net with the few chances you get when you come into this building, and do a better job again tracking in the box, which we didn't do perfectly tonight.
Okay, we'll go to the last question on Zoom. Go ahead, Charlie. We'll go to Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey Jim, Charles Bohm. About the Crew, just want to get your insight on what it's like to play them because you broke them down, you get the goal, and they've spotted teams' goals in a lot of these matches, and they still have this dominance, this sense of inevitability. I mean, how does an opponent deal with what they do?
Yeah, so I think they can hurt you a lot of different ways. And I think it's a credit to their coach. I don't say this as a disrespect to their players, but a lot of their players are, some of them are from college, some of them are from, different areas where maybe weren't the highest recruited kids, but he makes the most out of his group. Camacho is a former player that he had in Montreal who's thriving now in this system. So he has guys that are converted outside backs looking like great center backs. So he does a great job with his group. There's no doubt about that. But when you still talk about the top guys, what Nagby does is so underappreciated and underestimated in this country and has been for several years. It's a midfielder who doesn't lose the ball, can kind of control things from box to box, can speed the game up when it needs to speed up, can slow it down when it needs to slow down. And then we all know Rossi from his time in LAFC, and then he's doing the same thing here in Columbus. He's a ruthless finisher. He's relentless going at you over and over. And then Cucho is the one that, gives them just a different level of intensity, talent, ability, whatever word you want to use. He's a killer. So again, that the complementary pieces, then with the three, real dangerous ones that I highlight in the film session. Let's do our best on these three guys and try to force somebody else to beat you. It's always easier said than done. So again, that was our goal going into the night, and there were stretches of the game. I thought, Charles, where we did okay on Cucho, which is really hard to do, and we did okay on Rossi. But then in the key moments, the top players make the difference, and tonight was the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it is a grind. It's one that we've enjoyed. We've played 7 games last year. We'll play 7 games in it this year. So it just adds to your team's workload. I think you need to have a deep group to get through this kind of a stretch. It usually leads to having to adjust some games down the road and makes even more congestion like we'll have with Columbus at home. The game could have been moved to an international window, but then we don't have about 7 or 8 of our players, and that's not a smart thing to do against such a talented Columbus team. So we'll play on short rest. That's the approach we'll have, but it certainly is taxing on the guys. But it's games you want to play in. The further you get in this competition, while we're disappointed to lose in the semifinal, these are still elimination type games that get you ready for the playoffs. It's really hard to recreate that in training every day. We can talk about the playoffs and getting there and what it looks like. So for your young players, your middle-aged players, your old players who never know how many more opportunities like this they'll get, it's a chance for a trophy. It's elimination games, and it prepares you now for the final stretch of your season and the playoffs, which it becomes now. If you lose, you go home. So this hurts. We have to regroup quickly, go in the third place game, try and get a Champions League berth again, which also makes your schedule brutal at the beginning of the year too. So you want to go, but at the same time, it is really, really tough on your group.
And we'll go with the last question of the press conference. We'll go right over there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it always starts with he's a good person. You know, you can tell his players respect him. He's hard on them, but they learn from him. So that's for me the sign of a really good coach. And if you look at actually the four coaches left, I thought of this when I was coming over here. Cherundolo, great American coach. Chris Armas, a former teammate and friend who's done a great job in Colorado, and Wilfred, who's exceptional. So, yeah, look, he is brave. His guys played the same way, up a goal, down a goal, home, away. They're going to keep doing what they do, and they do it really well. And that takes a really good leader. So I respect him a ton as a coach, as a person, as a leader. Because I will just say this job is not easy. It's not easy to have sustained success in this league. Everybody's always gunning for you. There's 29 teams now, about to be 30, and everybody wants to be great. And it's really, really hard to stay at the top where he stayed now in the past couple of years. So we had a little discussion about even going to Pachuca and what's that like, and the different things that go there. So you share ideas, you learn from each other. You understand how difficult this job can be, how lonely this job can be. I think people maybe don't understand that either. The different pressures and when I say pressures, I mean wanting your 30 kids to go out and perform. That pressure and that weight of hoping that they can perform the game plan on the weekend is something that um, it's a heavy weight, and I think he handles it really well and is a great leader and a great person and a great coach. Cool.
With that,
What's that? Yeah, we have food. Yeah, we have altitude too. There's a lot going on in Pachuca.
we'd like to thank everybody on Zoom and on the room. We'll be joined momentarily by Wilfred Nancy. Thank you.